Jenny took her life in June 2015. Julia Vins. People had been describing 17-year-old Julia Vins as a porcelain doll for as long as she could remember. The Russian teen grew tired of the label, feeling it gave her no purpose in life, and turned to weightlifting when she was 15 to prove she was more than just a pretty face. A year into her lifting, she met a coach that saw her potential, and Julia began entering weightlifting competitions. Today, she holds 3 world records and can deadlift 400 pounds. Arpit Gohil. 18-year-old Arpit Gohil of India appears to the world to be an ordinary, everyday teenager. He goes to school and helps around the family farm, but one trip or bump could end his life. When Gohil was born, doctors believed that he'd been born with 2 hearts, but the scary truth was that his heart had developed outside of his rib cage. There are only 165 known cases of this condition worldwide, and many infants do not survive. The fact that Gohil has made it to 18 is nothing short of a miracle. While he has learned to adapt to his condition, he must still be very careful, as there is only a thin layer of skin protecting his heart. Luciana Wolkin. Luciana Wolkin of Greater Manchester, England, suffers from fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, an incredibly rare disease that affects connective tissue. She was diagnosed when she was just 2 years old when her parents began to notice symptoms and brought her to a doctor. Now 17 years old, Luciana has trouble moving her joints and suffers constant pain as her muscles, tendons, and ligaments are slowly turning into solid bone. Her right wrist, jaw, and hip have already locked and fused, rendering many simple tasks difficult. An A student, Luciana doesn't let her condition hold her back, and she isn't worrying about the future. Rama Haruna. Rama was born a healthy baby girl in Nigeria for the first 6 months of her life before something went wrong. Rama Haruna is now 19 years old, and only her head has grown since she was an infant. She is in constant pain from her condition and lives most of her life in a plastic bowl carried around by her family. Her father has been searching for a diagnosis for 15 years, but medical professionals are baffled. Since a wheelchair was donated to Haruna's family, her young brother Fahad has been able to bring her for walks to see the village and helps her get the most she can out of life. Jaspreet Singh Kalra. Born in Punjab, India, 16-year-old Jaspreet has made quite a name for himself. When he began doing yoga at the age of 12, he realized he was incredibly flexible. He practiced and slowly his flexibility improved. He can now rotate his head 180 degrees, dislocate both shoulders at will, rotate his hands more than 360 degrees, and bend forward and backwards at impossible angles. He is now the holder of 4 world records and dubbed the Rubber and Boneless Man. He has even appeared on India's Got Talent, turning his contortion into a career. Zara Hartshorn. Kids in school can be very cruel to each other, and teasing can happen to anyone, but 19-year-old Zara Hartshorn has had more than her fair share due to her rare medical condition. She and her mother both suffer from lipodystrophy, a skin condition that causes fat to dissolve beneath the skin, causing premature wrinkles. At 16 years old, she looked closer to 60 and was taunted relentlessly for it. In 2015, Zara and her mother were offered free surgery from American doctors to correct their prematurely aging skin. Hu Yufeng. 15-year-old Hu Yufeng lives in China with her grandfather since her father passed away and her mother abandoned her. Despite her actual age, many mistake Hu for a toddler, as she is only 1 meter tall. When she stopped growing as a child, her family didn't have money for a doctor, so her condition was never diagnosed. Hu has the mental capacity of a child and is unable to care for herself and can only say a few words as she never learned how to speak. Ari Wibowo. In Indonesia, there is a 16-year-old boy that sheds his skin every 41 days. Ari Wibowo, nicknamed Snake Boy, suffers from a rare condition called erythroderma, which causes his skin to become very dry and scaly. Wibowo must bathe every hour and apply lotion regularly. He was born with the condition, but doctors say they are unable to treat it as there is no cure. All he can do is make sure he stays well moisturized, or his skin becomes very painful and it is difficult for him to move. Fellow villagers believe that Wibowo's condition was caused by his mother killing a lizard while she was pregnant with him. Due to this superstitious attitude and the fear that his condition may be contagious, Wibowo has had trouble making friends and studies alone, but still tries to live a normal life in his village. Lucy Pierce. Born in Sheffield, England, 16-year-old Lucy Pierce has the most handy notepad in the world: her own skin. She suffers from dermographism, which causes her skin to swell at the slightest pressure. The sensitivity allows her to write on her skin and have it remain for almost 30 minutes. While the condition originally caused concern, Lucy now embraces it and uses it to her advantage when studying for exams. Her skin is so sensitive to irritation, however, that she tends to wear long sleeves to avoid people staring. Even a hug can cause her skin to react. There is currently no cure, but Pierce has learned to love and accept her unique personal notepad. We hope you enjoyed learning about these incredible teenagers. Please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to The Richest for more amazing videos daily. Thanks for watching!
We all know that being a kid can be great fun. After all, you don't really have any responsibility except school and some chores. But if you think that your early years were harder than most, wait until you see the shocking lives of these kids. They face a range of illnesses and conditions which make their lives anything but usual. The Ahern brothers. Anyone who has kids knows that as they grow, children can eat a lot of food. Then there's the Ahern brothers. The 12-year-old twins suffer from a rare disorder that leads them to eat almost non-stop, anytime, anywhere. The boy's mother has to lock up the fridge and cupboards and even make sure that cat food and household chemicals are secured. If that's not challenging enough, Stevie and Eddie have been known to eat while sleepwalking and have even gone into the garbage to find food to satiate their endless cravings. Arya Permana. Today, there's a real push to get kids active in an attempt to reduce the number of overweight and obese children. Arya Permana is an extreme case of what happens when this formula isn't followed. This Indonesian is dubbed the world's fattest boy. At just 10 years of age, Permana weighs an astounding 423 pounds. A life of overeating and inactivity means he doesn't fit in any clothes outside of a loosely tied sarong and needs a small pool for baths. Out of desperation, his parents have placed him on a crash diet of just brown rice to reduce his weight before it's too late. Ben Underwood. You've likely heard that people who are blind have a heightened sense of hearing. Ben Underwood took that to a whole new level. This North California boy lost his eyesight at just 3 years of age. Not giving up, Underwood turned to echolocation to help him see again. Making a clicking noise with his mouth, Ben would use the same technique practiced by bats to judge the location of objects around him while walking or even rollerblading. While he passed away from cancer in 2009 at just 16 years of age, Ben's amazing story provides inspiration for others who face a similar challenge. Sophie Green. Despite facing a pretty significant challenge, this little girl from Utah has adapted to a remarkable thing. Sophie Green was born without arms. You may think that that would really limit what she can do, but think again. In the place of arms, she uses her feet to perform all those daily tasks most of us take for granted. Eating, writing, brushing her teeth, and even riding a bike are activities that Green has adapted to and performs with seemingly little effort. Evan Fasciano. 5-year-old Evan Fasciano has a rare disease that causes his skin to grow at 10 times its normal rate. Known as harlequin ichthyosis, the condition means Evan is living his whole life at risk. What does that mean exactly? Evan burns through calories very quickly as the body produces more and more skin. In addition, he must be bathed constantly to remove old skin and be covered in creams and ointments to prevent cracking and infections. He is also unable to sweat, meaning that he can overheat very easily. Twinkle Duveri. In the North Indian town of Lucknow lives a girl who seems to defy all logic. What is so unusual about Twinkle Duveri is that when she cries, instead of tears, blood comes out. In fact, in addition to her eyes, it has been noted that blood has been seen coming from her scalp and hands. Some think Twinkle is afflicted with hemolacria, a condition where small amounts of blood mix with your actual tears. This doesn't explain the rest of the blood, though, which has led some to think the entire thing might just be one big hoax. Isaac Hughes. At first glance, you might think Isaac Hughes is just like any other 9-year-old. However, ask him to smile or make a funny face, and the Welsh boy can't. You see, Isaac suffers from Mobius syndrome, a condition which basically means he has facial paralysis. This prevents him from moving his facial muscles, laughing, or until a couple of years ago, even speaking. The condition is so rare that most doctors have never seen it, yet Isaac's parents are hopeful that surgery can get some of their son's facial muscles operating once again. Shoaib Ahmed and Abdul Rashid. It's normal for many of us to get a bit tired when the sun sets and it gets dark outside. Shoaib Ahmed and Abdul Rashid take that to a whole different level. The 9 and 13-year-old boys are active and acting every bit their age during daylight hours. However, once the sun sets, these Pakistani brothers shut right down. Doctors are baffled, but note that it has nothing to do with light, as both are active inside in darker rooms during the day. Dubbed the Solar Kids, it's even reported that there's a new addition to the family who suffers from the same condition. Rama Haruna. Most people who first see this girl can't believe their eyes. When she was just 6 months old, Rama Haruna's arms, legs, and much of her torso stopped developing. As a result, today, she must be carried around in a bowl by her family and endure constant pain for which there seems to be no cure. Doctors are completely baffled by the Nigerian girl's condition. As a result, she continues to rely upon family members for all forms of care and transportation. Mahindra Ahirwar. This 12-year-old Indian boy suffers from a rare muscular disease, which means he didn't develop muscle in much of his body. What is most noticeable about Mahindra is the lack of neck muscle, which means his head hangs down 180 degrees from where it should. For most of his life, he viewed the world around him in this manner. A recent crowdfunding project allowed Mahindra to undergo surgery to repair his neck. He still reportedly requires a neck brace and wheelchair, but his view of the world around him is no doubt much different. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Let us know what you thought about these amazing kids down in the comments below. And while you're here, why don't you check out these other videos and subscribe to The Richest for more awesome content all the time. Thanks!
With so much to do online, it seems that it's a bit too easy to get into some trouble. Here are some people who should be banned from the internet. Marina Lonina. 18-year-old Marina Lonina and her 29-year-old friend Raymond Gates of Ohio were drinking and hanging out with a 17-year-old girl when Raymond began to force himself onto her and proceeded to rape her. Instead of stopping him, Marina got out her phone and began broadcasting the rape via Periscope. One of Marina's friends saw the attack and called authorities. The pair face multiple charges, including rape, sexual battery, and kidnapping. Jeanette Garza Alvarez. This is one mom that may need to stay away from the internet. On January 29, 2016, Jeanette Garza Alvarez heard of a potential school shooting situation from her son. Instead of notifying the school or the proper authorities, Alvarez took to Facebook and posted about it. The post ended up going viral in the community and resulted in hundreds of phone calls to the school, and 160 kids skipping school the next day. The police department ended up filing a criminal